We're going to continue solving by elimination. Remember how we solve by elimination is we need opposites. So if we're looking at letter D, notice that we have opposites. We have negative y and y. The reason that we want opposites is because when we add opposites or combine two equations, opposites always add up to 0. So when we're adding these up, 3x plus x is 4x. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Now I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to divide by 4, and I get x is equal to negative 1. Remember, I'm going to take the negative 1, and I'm going to plug it in for the x. It doesn't matter which equation I choose. I'm going to pick my top equation. So negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. So I have negative 3 plus y equals negative 5. Notice I use my top equation. Now I'm going to solve for y. I'm going to add 3, and I get y is equal to negative 2. Remember, we want an ordered pair. X comes first, y comes second. So my ordered pair would be negative 1, negative 2. Now, looking at letter E, notice I don't have opposites. I have terms that are exactly the same. So if you remember before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract. When I subtract, I change all the signs. So now I have opposites. Remember, opposites add up to 0. 4x minus 6x is negative 2x. 8 minus 12 is negative 4. I divide by negative 2, and I get x is equal to 2. Remember, I want x and y, so I have to pick one of the equations. I'm going to pick the top equation. I'm going to take the x, and I'm going to plug it in right there. 4 times 2 is 8. And the next step is to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 8 on both sides. I get negative 3y equals 0. I divide it by negative 3. And so y is equal to 0. Now I'm going to write my ordered pair, 2, 0. Looking at our last example, once again, we don't have opposites. So what I want to do is create opposites. I see a 6 right here, and I want something that's the opposite of a 6. So I'm going to make a negative 6. So I'm going to times this by negative 2 in order to make a negative 6. When I times it by negative 2, what I get is negative 6x minus 6y equals negative 6. Now remember, the equations that we're looking at are the top equation and now this bottom equation. Notice a 6 and a negative 6. Whenever we add opposites, it always adds up to 0, so they cancel. Negative 7y, negative 6y is negative 13y. Negative 33, negative 6 gives us negative 39. I'm going to divide it by negative 13. When I divide it by negative 13, I get y is equal to 3. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Now what I have to do is I have to pick one of the equations I want to plug it into. I'm going to pick the second equation. So I'm going to take the 3 and I'm going to plug it right in there. 3 times 3 is 9. So what I have is 3x plus 9 equals 3. I'm going to subtract 9 on both sides. I get 3x is equal to negative 6. Divide by 3, and I get x is equal to negative 2. Now, I have to write an ordered pair. X comes first, y comes second. So negative 2 and 3, that right there would be my answer.